should we expect the offense, should we expect a lot more creativity, or for you guys to open up the offense a little bit more, a little more aggressive style on Saturday?
What I'm trying to get across to our players is we need to get individually and collectively better, regardless of what we're doing. What we're doing is not making the difference. It's how we're doing it that makes the difference. So, but I would like to, if I were looking forward to something and knew it was going to happen, it wouldn't be schematically, it would be that each of our young guys gets a little bit better in all those things we talk about.
Bill, your kicking game has been a bit inconsistent. At what point, some coaches just say, oh, he's a kicker and don't try and do anything, but at what point do you begin to worry about the confidence of the guy who's actually doing the kicking?
Well, I think you always do. That's whenever, whether it's missing some hits in practice, whether it's a punter, a kicker, or a return guy dropping the ball, whatever the case may be, anytime, or your quarterback, when somebody doesn't perform well, you worry about the level of confidence. And all I can relate to is, what I've told our players all along, if you've done it, then I'm expecting it to get done the same way again and again and again. In other words, if you've proven that you have the capacity to do something, block, tackle, throw, catch, kick, whatever the case is, and if you've shown that you can do it well, why would we accept and appreciate anything less than that? Now, what I've tried to share with with specialists is, and with our team, and I think I said this in here a week ago. I've watched Josh line up and kick the ball from places on the field that we probably only let Dramatica kick from. Not quite that far out, but still, he's hit good balls from a distance, and he had some consistency about it. Kind of lost that, obviously. I want him to know, and I've shared with him, I'm going to stick with him, and our team has shared that same feeling with him as well. And it's just a matter of working through, his fundamentals and his techniques and his mindset that says, hey, I can do this thing. But we just keep putting him in the position and keep kicking away, and we put him in the same position last night, first thing right after as soon as we started practice, to hit it, and he missed a shot or two, and so we just kept doing it. Pretty soon he hit him, then he hit him, then he hit him, and so he was kind of getting back on track.
Is it anything fundamental?
Part of it, yes.
Do you treat kickers any differently than any other position in regard to that?
I don't. I'm probably as hard on anybody as, I don't treat a quarterback or a specialist, any difference than I assess and visit with a defensive lineman. There's a lot of mental stress, no matter what the position you play, whether it's a kicker or any of those guys, on Saturday afternoon. And
yeah, but a quarterback gets the next play, usually.
Well, I'm not sure I know what you mean by that.
Well, the kicker gets one play, and then he goes and sits until you give him another chance.
The quarterback throws an interception, he doesn't get another play either. So all I'm saying is, I've certainly treat him with compassion, but by the same token, I think we don't coddle necessarily any particular position, because that's a different venue than you'd have on Saturday. It's a mentally taxing game, no matter what position you play on Saturday afternoons, and so you try to create, or at least we do, that's our approach, try to create that same type of mental difficulty during the course of the week.
A couple of the miscues have been mishandled snaps, as I recall.
We've got two of those.
Is that something that contributes to a kicker's uncertainty, that he's also worrying about somebody else doing their job as opposed to?
Ball's laying on the ground, you got some questions. Yes. he isn't very good at kicking the ball off the ground.
Right.
Flat. And so it was a placement error with Ryan, and he's,
But is there some point at when that gets in the guy's mind as well?
you'd have to ask him. I mean, I don't know if that gets in his mind or not. I don't know what's in everybody's mind. I would, I would like to think, that you've got a routine, and that's one thing. Kickers are amazing about routines. I mean, you have this routine, and you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it, and most things don't change. For a quarterback, you drop back to throw it, and your keys change, every tenth of a second. And people are doing different things, and there's so many variables, in the kicking game. That's not true. It's just consistent routine, and that's what you have to get into and be mentally adept at it. And he'll hit it better.
Coach, when you
Last
watched
question right
when you watched Tennessee Tech on tape, what have you thought of them? What stood out about them?
I wondered if you were going to ask about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, obviously we watched an awful lot of videotape. They're a young football team and play a lot of guys, so it makes you worry about fourth quarter and the fact that they'll rotate their guys enough that everybody seems to be well rested and they can play well late in the ball game. Everybody says this, but I know Watson Brown and Mac's brother, Mac's good friend, and Watson's an excellent coach, been around for an awful long time. And they really do a nice job. The thing that you appreciate about their football team, I think, offensively and defensively, is you don't find, in the kicking game, you don't find them out of position. You find guys doing what they're coached to do. They're in position to make plays. And they're not a slow football team. They've got some pretty good speed. They've got a quarterback that's thrown for over 300 yards. Got a running back, career-wise, a running back that's over 2,300 yards in his career. What I think is really a very, very fine wide receiver. He's got about 70-some-odd catches in his career. And I was watching the one of the catch that was so impressive to me is kind of a one-handed catch that he made against Eastern Kentucky, to set up their only touchdown. But it was very, very impressive. Showed athletic ability, and he's got good range. At 6'3", so he's a tough matchup in that respect. So that's a very, very sound football team. I think that they don't get themselves out of position. You have to work for everything you get.